mindful health. Sandy Kay uses healing modalities as she has a background in hypnotherapy, herbalism, massage, Reiki, and nutrition, to name just a few, but feels she has learned most of her information just living life and learning to do it in the most helpful way possible. So thank you for coming, and here's Sandy Kay.
Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate you doing that for me. Who wants to wake up in the morning feeling vibrant and alive?
Me.
Thank you. Who wants to wake up feeling like you did in your youth, in your teenage years, having all that energy? Yeah, without all the hormonal balances, right? Yeah. Thank you for coming. My name is Sandy Kay, and I am going to talk to you about the 3 common misconceptions that even smart people make that leave them drained, bloated, depressed. Okay. So, moving right along, you know what? A popular saying that I happen to agree with, Kirsten pointed out, was Woody Allen says 80% of success is simply showing up. So, thank you for showing up. I really appreciate you being here. And since I can't do it all at the same time, would you just bring your arms out like this for me and pat each other on the back and congratulate each other? Thank you very much. You guys are awesome. Okay. May I speak a little bit about myself so you get even an idea of why I'm here? Thank you. I appreciate that. I was called to be a healer through my mother, who's emotionally unstable. And I quickly learned how to read people for that reason. So at age 14, I started to learn about herbs, supplements, and nutrition, thinking if my mom had a healthy body, she'd have a healthy mind. But later years, I got derailed because I fell in love and had a baby. And after about a year and a half, that marriage crumbled, and I was left to raise my son by myself. You know, I didn't tell you initially that this is Joseph Campbell's hero's journey of following your bliss. Have you ever heard of that exercise? Or Joseph Campbell, I'm sure. He has an exercise where you write your own hero's journey, and I did not say that at the beginning. So this is my hero's journey, and it's set up to be read off like this. So if you're wondering. I met another man, and a good man, and he married me and he adopted my son. And I got back interested into healing once again. I went to hypnotherapy college, and I became a clinical hypnotherapist, and I thrived in this atmosphere. And actually, I worked myself into the ground because I worked every day, having clients during the week and then teaching hypnotherapy on the weekends. And I adored my job, but one day I was taken back because my boss, whom at the time I felt I respected very highly, had come on to me. And I was married, and he was with somebody. And within 2 weeks, I got sick. And every time I tried to go back to work, every time I thought I was going to get better, I would get sick again. And I eventually had to quit that job, and I had CFS for 3 years. I believe it's because I kept on trying to do something that subconsciously was not in my integrity in line with me. So my body was going to decide for me that we're not going to do that job. So that was a learning experience. Years later, when I got healthy again, I moved up to North County where my mother lived, and I met new people and began new activities in helping and healing. And I continued my studies as a healer through Science of Mind and became a Science of Mind practitioner and started energy work. At the time, my family was finally able to afford to buy a home up in Oceanside, and I was a raw food chef at the time and wrote a book called Raw Eats Naked Treats. Life was going great, and then one day I got a call from my mother. She was sick with cancer, so I backed off of my job and went to take care of her for 2 years, being her full-time caretaker. 'Cause 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 'c my mother passed away after 2 years, and me and my husband lost our house. It was in the real estate crunch, and soon after that, my marriage failed. So I went into a deep depression at this time, and I didn't even know how I got through every day. I didn't want to even get up out of bed. But I slowly found healing modalities in thought. It was a struggle to get out of bed every day, but with these new thoughts and way of thinking, I started to come back. And when I did finally come fully back, I was back with gusto and more alive than I ever felt I'd ever been before. So that was my journey up till now. And so I've learned some of these things so that you guys don't have to. You can kind of avoid some of these things because I've done the footwork. So let's get on with what I found out, shall we? First of all, I would like to talk to you about clearing your own space of loved ones, all right? Usually our loved ones are of good intention, but they can be kind of crowdsome in our space, and we want to have our own energy, and they have their own energy, right? So I suggest, first off, to fill yourself back up, because you can't be of good use of yourself until you are filled up. But I know that you guys already know that. Then I invite you to think of that one person or maybe two people that you always kind of reflect to when there's a problem. And they're your go-to person. And they're the ones that kind of don't get thanked as much because they're always there. And I invite you to kind of think of who that might be and take some time to take that person out or get that person a gift that says, hey, I see you. Whether it's, you know that they have a special sports team and they know that you don't like it. Buy them tickets. Go to the game with them. Be enthusiastic. If it's a teenager, your teenager that's goth and you don't even want to walk next to her because you're embarrassed, buy her that outfit that you don't really want to walk next to, because that tells her that you love her and you see her, okay? So what that does is that frees up any kind of karmic energy you may have built up. And it clears the space to bring in new thoughts and new ways and new modalities of living and new people. And so once that space is cleared, and actually you don't have to wait until that space is cleared, you can do this right now. There is a space in our body that kind of resonates all of our emotions. And some people call it the third chakra area. It's around in this area, okay? And think about when you get scared. Oh, your stomach, oh, right there, you know, or when you get excited, you know, that's where the butterflies go. So this is our energy center, right? Okay. So if you just kind of close your eyes and think about putting a nice fluffy pillow right here and make it a vibrant color, not black or white or brown, but, you know, a pretty vibrant color, and just kind of put it right in front of your third chakra. And what that does is that kind of holds your energy and your emotions inside you, and it kind of keeps other people's energies and emotions with them. So you can talk with them, and they can be displaying emotion, but it's not affecting you. You know, have you ever met, or maybe you're one of those people that go out into crowds and just go, I can't stand it, you know, I can't stand being in crowds, because all of this energy is being transferred, and it's really unnerving for some people, very sensitive people. So this really helps. There is some people in the spiritual community that like to use the flower, roses in particular, because the rose has been displayed in so many other religions in the past. And it's said that the flower is the first ethereal being that came onto the earth that wasn't for any kind of sustainability, but was just there for beauty, which means it was there for our spiritual enlightenment. So some people use a rose. And you want to make this about as big as a dinner plate. So big, beautiful rose or pillow, doesn't matter, but a nice, beautiful color. Okay, and then, you know what? Some of these people that have done this have actually lost weight because you hold on to energy, you know, and when you release that, you actually will release some other things along with it. So, see what you weigh before and after and see what happens. You never know. Affirmations. Now, I know the crowd that I'm talking to knows about affirmations, what they are, so I won't go into that, but I'm sure you're aware that the media uses affirmations to their advantage. They're repeated over and over and over and over and over again. It's like, remember the stupid used car salesman, you know, just with an irritating song. Why do they play that commercial every single time we go to break? They know why. Because the moment you think, I think I might need to buy a car now, that jingle's going to go off. That stupid jingle that you can't stand is going to go off in your head, and you're going to think of that place first. So they use affirmations to get you to think what they want you to think. So I invite you to use that same tactic to get you to think what you want to think. Get an affirmation or create one for yourself that's specifically towards you. Say it every day. Say it to yourself. Maybe even look at your reflection in the mirror and say it to your eyes. And I guarantee in about 28 to 30 days, you're going to see some shifts and some changes. So I invite you to try that out. That is our drained section. Let's go on to bloated, which is about healing modalities. Okay. In your average HMOs, in your typical doctor, we are this. All of us in this room are this. And when we have a disease, all of us are given the same pill. But we're not all the same. We have different body types. We like different foods. We act differently on different foods, on different exercises. So why would one pill be right for everybody? It's not really. But let me invite you to think about healing modalities that have been around for so long, like Chinese medicine has been around since 100 BC, and Ayurvedic medicine has been around since 100 AC. That's a long time for a healing modality to be around. And what that tells me is that it works, or we would have heard of it, that long ago. So a little background about Chinese medicine is they use elements: wood, fire, air, earth. And we all have these elements, but we're dominant in one or two, which makes us an individual. So say you got too much fire going on. We're just going to give you some watery herbs or a watery exercise of this nature. It's going to cool down the too much fire, okay? So you can see just by that not everybody's going to have the same thing that's going to have the same function. I mean, two people can have diabetes, but what's going to cure their body is going to be two different modalities, possibly, depending on the body type. So again, Ayurvedic, they have doshas or body types, Kapha, Pitta, Vata. We all have these, but we're dominant in one or two. So there again, they're addressing the individual and what the individual needs based on their illness, their life, and their body type or element. So I invite you, especially in this lovely place of books, please get your hand on some of those modalities because you'll be glad you did. There's something very powerful in taking your own health into your own hands, and deciding what's best for you instead of having somebody that doesn't even know you tell you to take a pill, Okay, so that's the bloated part. Let's go on to the depressed part, which can be hormones, all right? There's hundreds of different kinds of hormones out there. And some scientists don't even know what they do, why we have them. But I know that we wouldn't have them if they didn't serve some kind of purpose, because God don't make no junk, right? So What's happening in this time is a lot of people are having some hormone imbalances because of the BPAs that are being leached into our plastic water bottles, or the GMOs. They have chemicals that our body doesn't recognize. It's not organic, and it doesn't know how to break it down. So we're starting to see issues that are dealing with hormones, like thyroid issues. How many people know at least one person that has a thyroid issue, if not their own self? Yes. I mean, that has to do with GMOs. That has to do with gluten intolerance. The wheat that we eat today is not the same wheat that our grandfathers' ate. No, it's been tampered with. It was healthy. It used to be healthy. You know, wheat, whole grain foods, right? Healthy. Yeah, whole grain wheat's not healthy anymore. So, because it's been tampered with. If you can get organic whole grain, then that is good for you. But it's kind of hard to find these days. So getting back to hormones and the imbalance and what they create in the body, women are having a hard time getting pregnant. And when babies are being born, the rate of how many that have autism or some other kind of body or brain malfunction is skyrocketing. And our kids alone, they're getting diabetes at 6, 7, 8 years old. This is not normal. This is not right. So what we need to do is we need to get back to whole foods. Stop at the processed foods. And start taking things to balance the hormones. Let me tell you a little bit about hormones, just so that you get an idea, because what we usually only hear about the ones that have to do with sex, and we don't hear about any of the other hundreds of ones. You know, we have prolactin, which is a major contributor in, sexual satisfaction, the production of breast milk. So that is, but young women and older women are both going to benefit from the balance of this hormone, because young women that want to have babies definitely want to have breast milk, right? And older women, they definitely want to have sexual satisfaction. So, it's good for all women. Thyroxine is a form of a thyroid hormone, of course, increases your rate of your metabolism, and it also affects the protein synthesis, which this is how protein gets into your cells and feeds your cells. We definitely want that. Dopamine, this controls the heart rate and also assists in the perception of deciphering what is real and what is not, which there is some political people right now that could really do some hormone balancing with that hormone. Serotonin, which is melatonin's sister. I'm sure you've heard of melatonin because so many people have a hard time with sleep. But serotonin, it gives you an overall feeling of well-being, and it relieves anxiety. So even though people say take serotonin during the day and melatonin at night, a lot of people can get sleep satisfaction with serotonin because it does calm anxiety and gives a well-being. And if that's what's keeping people up at night, that's going to help you to sleep. And how you can get that is through GABA. Any health food store is going to have GABA, G-A-B-A. And I invite you to get that, take that, wait about 20, 25 minutes, and if you'll feel it. And if you feel an overall well-beingness, then you know that you need that hormone balanced, and to take that and start seeing what changes happen when you start taking that. The list goes on, but I'm going to end with oxytocin. Oxytocin is a hormone that plays a major role in reproduction and aids in orgasm, and also in reproduction of and the release of breast milk. Okay, so that's really important for women. It's important for men too, but this hormone is different in the body, in the woman, in the man. Okay, so let me tell you a little story about oxytocin. All right, say the man, he has a date, all right? He set up the date with this woman, right? And you know how men are. They, when they're going for that prize, when they're going for, oh, this sounds kind of, for that kill, really, because that's what men do. They're hunters, and that's what they do. So when they're doing that, they're actually building testosterone. This is a testosterone builder, and it feels good, it feels right. Everything's going really well. And women do really good with testosterone, too. Not as much, a little bit, but testosterone makes a woman feel confident and sexy. So it's good that she has it, too, all right? So they're having a great time. And they get to the end of the night, and they come together, and they have an orgasm, all right? Hopefully at the same time. But anyway, I digress. So then a flood of oxytocin floods both of their bodies. And what it does to the woman is she gets really all lovey-dovey. And she goes, oh, gosh, I love you so much. And let's cuddle. And I just want to be with you. And I want to chat. And you want a back rub or you want a sandwich? I'm going to give you a sandwich. I just love you so much. And what it does to a man is it's a sleeping pill. I mean, it's literally like he took a sleeping pill. He can't hardly even stay up after this flood of oxytocin. So the woman, she's kind of all lovey-dovey, and the guy's asleep. And she's like, well, I want to cuddle, I want to talk, and he fell asleep. I mean, does he even like me? I don't even know if he likes me. Should I even stay here? I'm not even sure if I should stay here. And so then the man wakes up, and now this woman is kind of loony. And it would have been okay if they both would have known what oxytocin does, right? She could have gone on and made the soundtrack, took a nap. And then when he woke up, then they could have cuddled, right? So, I mean, it's really fascinating, hormones and what they do to both sexes and to our body in and of itself. And to get these balanced is vital to happiness, really. Because as I was mentioning, some of these are control well-being and sleep, and actually hormones govern every organ of our body. So we really want those very delicate dance of those hormones to be balanced. And when we're balanced, that's when we thrive. That's when we're creative. That's when we're loving. So healthy body, healthy hormones, happy people. So I want to thank you for coming. And for thank you, I want to show you how easy it is to eat whole foods. The peanut butter cookie on the baking aisle, get her a box and they ask you to put a little water, maybe a little oil or an egg or something. Well, I just made cookies this afternoon made with peanut butter, organic sugar, and an egg. And that's all. 3 ingredients. The boxed is the box, the water, the oil, or the egg. 3 ingredients, but you can have whole foods without those chemicals, those additives. 350 at about 10 minutes. And there you go. Now, this is what I normally make. But today, I snuck in a little bit of lucuma, all right? And lucuma is a hormone balancer. So you can have a treat that's whole food and be balancing your hormones at the same time. I mean, how great is that, right?
That's really good.
What is that? Is it a herb? Or?
It is a seed pod that comes from the Aztecs. Been around for a very long time. It has kind of a very light, caramely, nutty flavor to it. So it's very easy to put it into recipes or smoothies and stuff. It doesn't have a real big flavor, but the light flavor is kind of caramely, so it's kind of yummy. You know, I've had mousses and custards and stuff made with lucuma because of the flavor of it. People just like it. So yeah, that comes from South America. Just wanted to shout out that I'm having a workshop in June 18th. It's going to be in Oceanside, and we're going to go over, just briefly, I want to tell you what we're going to go over because it's so important. Number 1 is leaky gut. And I don't know if you've heard about leaky gut, but it is exactly what it sounds like. The lining of the stomach is being broken down because of some of the foods that we're having to digest. It's actually breaking down the lining of our stomach, and the food is seeping out the gut. The problem with that is the liver has to clean up all that food. which is overworks the liver. And then where we get our nutrients is when the food goes down into our intestines, our intestines pull the nutrients out and the rest goes down into our colon. It's not even reaching the intestines. It's going out the stomach. So you could eat the most healthy food and you're not going to get any benefit if you have leaky gut. So I'm going to explain more about what leaky gut, how to heal it, and so that you can be getting, the proper nutrients that you want and feeling vibrant and alive. We're also going to be going over sleep, how to get more of it, and alkaline the body, how easy it is. We don't have to have all these huge contraptions. Very easy to be alkaline in the body. And, we need acid. We're like about 7 on the pH scale. Cats run about 3 or 4. They like a lot of meat. They want their body to be acidic. But we eat meat and vegetables, so we're kind of more in the middle. So it's not like we have to have an alkaline body all the time. So just getting more alkaline in the body is all we need. And then we're going to be delving a lot more into hormones, what may be off for the people at the workshop, because it's all going to be individual, and then what they can do for their body type to balance those particular hormones. And in between, there's going to be a great healthy lunch being served. Most likely moi will be making that, but it won't be raw. It'll just be really good. So with that said, again, I want to thank you so much. Just give you guys a round of applause.